Section 8 clients. Do you get like a list of people?
My name is Aline, and I just recently.
Okay.
So think about your workflow. Again,
I don't know how to do it.
I know how to do it, and I'm trying to instruct other people to do better in their business, but I also have to do better in my business.
Hey everyone out there in YouTube land and Metro Detroit off-market real estate group. Hope you're having a great. Today's Wednesday. I had issues with on Monday. Last minute, something came up, and I'm very grateful to this guest who was able to come back on because he was all ready to go. And so I'm very happy to introduce Dean Parker Jr. He is a great guy. One thing that, hey, I want to learn this too is, how he remotely invested in real estate here in the Metro Detroit area and in Detroit. Like, how did he do that? And where can I do it? How can I do it? So I know you're all thinking the same thing just by the title. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Dean. Dean, how you doing today?
All right. Hey, Randy, thanks for having me on, man. Really excited.
Awesome. I'm happy to have you, and I know our guests are going to be happy to have you. So tell me a little bit about how you got started in real estate, and what's your background. I know we put a bio of you in the description, so if you want to look through that, by all means. But let's give you a quick summary of what your background is, how you even heard about real estate. Obviously, we've all lived in homes, so we know about real estate. But how did you I want to be an investor? How did you hear about that?
Yeah, so just to give you a little background. So, originally from Detroit, Michigan, went to University of Michigan. Growing up, I always say, I want to own my own company. I want to be my own boss. And as I got older, I realized like bills are real and I didn't have things figured out yet. So I ended up going to, getting the job, working in, sales for the last decade or so. And, every job I had, it was, I just felt like I was in this rat race. I wanted to get out of it. And I just kept hearing about, these millionaires making all of their money from real estate and how you can be passive and, how people are leaving their jobs and doing this full time, making money in their sleep. And I was lucky enough to have my younger brother, Dylan, to kind of introduce me to real estate. He had a friend that was, handyman, contractor. They started doing some business together, buying a couple of fixer-uppers, going to the trade auction. And I was kind of like watching him from the sidelines and just seeing what he was doing and saw that he was, getting some tenants in place, making some passive income, doing a couple of flips. And, I'm sitting here working, some days I'm happy, some days I'm not. Get the case of the Mondays. And I was like, how can I get involved in this? So, I sat down with him multiple times and just started learning, different things as far as, Section 8 and doing fix and flips, how to find contractors, handyman, etc. So, got all my information from him and kind of just took it from there.
So your whole experience, like how you even thought about doing real estate was coming from, you said your uncle?
My younger brother. So my younger
brother. Your younger brother. Sorry about that. Yeah. Your younger brother. So now you're supposed to be the big brother. You're supposed to know everything, right? Yeah. So now you're learning from him. Definitely. Now, what was he doing that made you think of that? Was he doing rentals? Was he doing fix and flips? What was he doing?
He was doing a little bit of everything, man. He was doing rentals. He was doing flips, wholesaling. He's actually down in Belize right now, selling plots of land. So if anybody's interested in owning some land in Belize, hit up my man Dylan. But yeah, he's a jack of all trades, man. So, kind of learned from him. So I started dabbling. Hey, I have some extra money from my 9-to-5. I want to start investing it. So he's like, hey, buy this house. We can go in and go 50-50 on it. We'll put a tenant in place and we'll just split profits 50-50. any repairs that come up, we'll split it 50-50. But, I had moved to California after college. So he was still in Detroit for a minute before he moved. So he was kind of like my, my feet on the ground, and kind of was just like taking care of everything, and had some contractors or handymen in place, had a property manager in place. So I was more so just like, giving him my money and just, kind of just crossing my fingers, hoping things went as planned, which they did. And I was like, this is something I think I want to kind of take a little bit more serious. So, as I started working more, started earning a little bit more income, having some money saved up, I, started getting serious about it, and, started scaling.
So you got some good luck in the beginning where your brother had experience with people. He's the boots on the ground. He's the one here, so you're able to say, okay, here's my money. Go make it work for me,
Pretty much. Yeah.
So did you know about how to analyze deals at that time? Did you know what's a good deal? What's a bad deal? Things like that?
Not necessarily. Like, I would do kind of some quick like napkin math. Like, okay, this house is going to cost this much. This is how much we can probably get for rent based off of like comps in the area.
Okay.
Then I didn't take into account, like vacancy, repair. Yeah. So I take all that into account, like property taxes.
Okay.
Water bill, who's going to pay for that? Utilities, etc. So some real basic math. Like, luckily it panned out for me because, again, my brother had done it for a while. But definitely, I'll say, as I started scaling, I definitely took learned some lessons, especially like the last year and a half. Just growing our portfolio, and my brother left, so it's kind of like me finding out my own team. So finding a property manager. I thought that, hey, I find a property manager. I have this building I just bought is empty. I'm going to give it to them. They're going to fill it in the next 30, 60 days max. I'm going to have some money rolling in. That is not how it went at all.
Okay. All right. So here comes the good part, right here. This is what we all want to hear right now. Okay. No offense to any trials and tribulations that you went through, and I'm sorry that you did, but we want to hear all about that because we don't want to make the same mistakes. Ain't that right? So
definitely. I know we only have like an hour or so. I can spend days.
I know. So what we can do is now that, so let me get anybody who just joined us real quick up to speed. Now, basically, you had your brother up. You had him here. He's boots on the ground. Now he's basically left.
Yep.
Okay. Right.
Yep.
So he's left the company. Now you're doing it on your own. You're like, oh yeah, it was just simple for him to just go grab a property manager, and here you go, and so on and so forth. So what went wrong first? Yeah. Obviously, first off was that mind thinking, that way of thinking. That was all wrong.
Yep.
But what happened to say? What was the first thing that happened when you said, "Oh man, I screwed up"?
Yeah, so I bought a triplex over in like the Russell Woods area.
Okay.
First off, the block wasn't the best block, but I was kind of just like risk taker. It's a triplex. We can get 3 rents under one building. The numbers panned out from the math that I was doing. Again, not taking into account property taxes, repairs, etc. And then I knew that, I started hearing more about Section 8 tenants and how it's, guaranteed income, especially when COVID happened, the cash paying tenants, they weren't paying anymore. They lost their job, etc. So I wanted to
So when let me know when the time frame was this happened. So what year was this?
So what were we, 2024? This was 2021 or 2022?
Okay.
2022. Yeah. So 2022, bought a triplex. It was vacant. It looked, like it was like rent ready to move in.
Yep.
And we got a property manager say, hey, here's the building, fill it up with tenants. And that was the first mistake. So we didn't really do a good job with the due diligence of finding the property manager. And it was, months will go by, no interest, no tenants. So 6-8 months later, we're like, hey, we're paying a mortgage and we're not getting any income. Like, luckily I had a job that could pay the mortgage, but this isn't what we want to do. So eventually I sat down with my wife. So my brother left, my wife ended up being, my new business partner. So we sat down like, you know what, let's take this over ourselves and see if we can find our own tenants. Like the property managers aren't doing it for us. No one cares about your property or your finances more than you do, right? So
exactly,
we came to that realization, and we're able to find a tenant placement person that specialized in Section 8, placement. So that was the bonus for us. First tenant they put in, we didn't do the background check, we didn't do credit check on the tenant, right? We kind of just took the tenant placements, word for it. First day the tenant moves in, it's like a blizzard happened in Detroit. I'm in California. So he moves in around, 11 o'clock at night, Michigan time. We're excited. We want to make sure she moves in. It's okay. It's a blizzard. The boiler goes out. So it's freezing in the house. Oh, man. Then she goes to use the bathroom. The toilet is clogged. The first few hours of her moving in, right? So this is our first journey into getting to the Section 8, scaling, etc. So, I'm sitting there, I'm on DoorDash. I'm ordering a plunger to the house.
On DoorDash?
On DoorDash. So yes, you can order plungers on DoorDash and have them delivered. I found that.
Oh, I thought you said plumber. Sorry.
Oh, plunger.
I'm like, you can order a plumber on DoorDash?
Right. So we called a plumber. It's it's a blizzard. They're not coming out that night. They're like, we can come out tomorrow. Same with the boiler. So I'm like, we need to order her a portable heater, and we also need to get her a plunger. So we did that, and come to find out, the tenant had a long, like a rap sheet, criminal background. This the poor tenant. So we were dealing with that. Again, luckily Section 8 paid for the rent, but we're dealing with her. As we started getting more tenants in place in the upstairs units, the triplex, she was causing issues with the upstairs tenants. Getting into arguments and allegedly stealing their mail. So now we're like, okay, we have the building occupied, but we might have high turnover because of this, troublesome tenant. So that was the first lesson learned. Definitely do, a deep background check, phone interviews, go check the tenants, where they're currently living at, see if they keep it clean, etc. So that was the big lesson.
How would you do that if you're out in California?
So you got to have the proper team in place. So that's another thing we found out. So it's, finding the right property manager that, you can, trust. Again, for me, I'm from Michigan, so I'll come back and see my family at least a few times a year. So I was able to go to Detroit Investors Group, say, hey, I'm looking for a property manager. I'm out of state. I come back frequently. These are the things that I require. This is what I'm looking for. Who can help me out? And I was more so looking for recommendations from people that had already worked with someone. So I went through about 2 or 3 property managers that could, kind of help me out there until I finally found one that I'm currently, still working with now. But it was definitely trial and error. So again, the first year and a half of us scaling was, we took some L's, but now we're definitely in a better place.
Right. So that's awesome. And you're able to come back. So it was remote, but you still had to get your systems and everything in place. So, Colleen wants to ask, what's the property manager in Detroit you're currently using?
Yeah, so her name is Tyra. I can send you, her information after this. Tyra Caldwell. But she's great. So she was doing so well that another property management company bought her out to the point she wasn't able to manage my properties for 2 years with the clause she had in that contract. So with that, we had to go to this new property management company that bought her out, and they were terrible, like absolutely terrible.
Got it.
They weren't doing repairs. They weren't showing up at Section 8 inspections, just absolutely terrible. And that was kind of like around the time where we were like, hey, let's just do it ourselves. So are
you working with her right now because it's after her clause?
We work with her for this building that I'm talking to you about, this triplex. It's been like a headache to deal with. But with our other doors, we manage it ourselves. I think you had Jay on here. I would call him my mentor. I call Jay all the time. The good thing about Jay is he answers your call every time you call him. Like he has.
And if anybody doesn't know who Jay Peltier is and who he's talking about, we had him on the podcast, the last episode. Go to the YouTube channel, look at the last episode. You'll see him and all his wisdom on Section 8. I'm telling you that right now.
Definitely.
So
And that's kind of where I started. Like he has like hour-long videos just explaining the Section 8 process, what to look out for. So I
okay.
spent a lot of time also just like listening to podcasts, reading books. And I was like,
Yep.
let's just do this. We'll figure it out along the way. If we make any mistakes, we have some money on the side to like, fix that and kind of just keep it going. But
So you have a whole team of boots on the ground here in Detroit to be able to run it remotely. So you had to build that team, obviously through some trials and tribulations of some things, but you eventually built that team up, and now you have contractors, handyman, somebody who needs. And do you have systems set up as well to be able to take rent and be able to run these background checks and find these tenants and do all of that?
Yeah. So also let them begin with my wife. She's like very organized, and
okay.
I say she's the what if to my why not. So when it comes time to do the background check, she like really looks into it. And when it came to like keeping track of like what was coming in and what was going out, she did some homework and was able to find a platform called Stessa. Stessa.com. So we use that, and it's like tremendous. It gives you like all the breakdown of all of your income, your expenses, trailing cash on cash for the last 12 months, everything that you would need for your to run your business and know where you are with your business, like helping financially. So we use that.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so anything that we didn't put in the show notes, by all means, if you want to put it in, just put it in the Facebook group and share it with the Facebook group. But we'll have, so as we go, now we're up to, say, right now, okay, we're at your current messaging. And so what are you doing now? Where are you buying? How many doors do you have? Kind of what's the situation right now?
All right. So right now we have 8 doors, all Section 8 occupied.
Okay.
And we purchase all of those just through, us, W-2 income. I bought one of the properties with a self-directed IRA. So I heard a podcast, hey, you can use your 401k to buy a house, add some money on 401k. Didn't want to keep it like put it in the stock market, wanted to put it in real estate. So I did that. And now we're at the point where like, okay, our goal right now, our first goal is 20 doors. How do we get to 20 doors?
Got it.
It can't just keep putting, 20, 25% down on the property. At some point we're running out of money. So let's look into, doing some fixer uppers, doing some flips to kind of like just give us some more lump sum of cash coming into the bank. And then also do a couple of burr homes. So I talked to you kind of before this call. We're supposed to meet on Monday. Between Monday and Wednesday, we actually just went on the contract on this house that we're looking to burr. The house is like 39,000 as of right now. It looks to only need about 15,000 in rehab, and the ARV is around $110,000, $120,000. So that's not bad. Again, we want to do an official inspection. We kind of have someone go out, and those are the numbers, but we want to get a full inspection to make sure. But that's the plan, just to we'll get our money back plus some, and to kind of just keep repeating that over and over again. But if we do find a couple of flips, that will allow us to use that money and go reinvest into buying.
So one thing I'm always skeptical of is when people say, "Oh yeah, it only needs about 15,000 worth, $10,000 to $15,000 worth of work."
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but unless it's literally a cosmetic where it doesn't need a kitchen, okay, where you just it's just a clean up, carpet, paint, and that's about it. It's going to need a little bit more. So if it's truly just a carpet paint, then you're probably looking at 10 to 15. That's fine. But a lot of things always come up. And I tell people, I was like, you got to leave more room there because there's contingencies. There's, especially in Detroit, your furnace might be gone. You gotta get a new furnace. That's $5,000 right there,
Yeah.
So depending on what deals you like, I mean, I'm sure you can get a hookup from somebody for a couple grand, but you never know. So
agreed.
Colleen asks, any experience with land contracts or seller financing deals?
Yeah, definitely. So when I was working with my brother, that was actually one of the first experience I had with land contracts. So we
Okay.
had purchased the house outright for dirt cheap, and his friend kind of, rehabbed it to the point where it was rent ready. And we wanted
Okay.
to sell it. The person that moved in was saying, "Hey, I want to buy this house, but can we do no land contract?" So, she was paying on it monthly, paying towards, what the terms were. And she eventually was like, "Hey, I need to move out of here. I can't afford to buy the house." So I didn't know what that meant. So I called my brother, I was like, "Hey, what does this mean?" He's like, "Well, it's actually not a bad thing for us because we get to keep the money that already came in, plus we get the house back. So we can either sell the house or we can find somebody else and do a land contract again." So I was like, "This is pretty cool. We should look into this." So now where I am now, trying to scale, I'm myself looking to go buy homes that I can buy for land contract, put a little bit down payment, and just pay on it monthly. They're a little bit harder to come by, and then just trying to figure out terms that are favorable yet reasonable for the seller as well. But that's a great way to scale as well, with coming out a pocket as least amount as possible.
Oh, most definitely. So that was kind of my next part. Did you, with every property, did you get a loan on it or mortgage? Or did you have to buy some cash, fix it up a little bit, and then say burr it out,
So with one of my homes, I used my 401k and bought that cash. But with all of our other doors, it was straight conventional loan, 20% down.
Okay. So you weren't doing getting too many wholesale deals. It was mainly all on market then, right?
Yeah, the wholesalers scare me, man. I think you're a wholesaler as well, right? Like
I am. That's why I asked that. So
yeah, you guys are a little optimistic with the rehab costs and the ARV. So I'm getting into it now, but I have some people that are a little bit more knowledgeable than I am to kind of say hey, it's actually what it needs. So I'm dabbling into buying some properties off markets, also less competition. You can kind of haggle a little bit on the pricing. So I'm getting there. I've been scared for the last few years with working with wholesalers. This hurts.
So don't be scared, but also don't take the ARV or specific things. ARV, what a wholesaler says ARV, always do your own homework.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't count on what they say. All right. Especially in Detroit. The next thing is the renovation costs. All right. Always do your own homework on that as well. You got to do enough due diligence to make sure that you are confident about those numbers.
Yeah.
And then another thing is that most wholesalers, keep in mind, when you're on a wholesale deal, more likely you're paying both sides of the closing costs.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. People don't realize that, and then they get upset at the closing table. And it's like, no, it states in the contract. Or they'll get upset just before they sign the contract when they see it there. And it's like 90% of wholesale deals are that way.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's one thing. But when you do a wholesale deal, it's got to be cash or hard money.
Yeah.
Or private money.
Yeah. So luckily for me, I work with a mortgage broker who has different loan products that include conventional, hard money, etc. So we have everything teed up. So we have the team ready, contract,
awesome.
The loan products, everything's ready. It's just pressing that button saying, hey, this is a deal. We're going to go forward with it. Let's go forward. So
most definitely. So Tara Lynn from Facebook says quality wholesalers are worth their weight in gold. They really are. And how you can know a quality wholesaler, I'm going to be honest, is when you come back and you fight back, say, hey, this is what I see the ARV is. This is what I see. Then when they fight with you and say, well, no, it's not. And it's like, take my feedback of what I'm giving you, and understand that, this is great information for you going forward. And he can, if he's a good wholesaler, he can use that to possibly get a price reduction if needed.
Yep. Nice.
Okay.
Yep.
So at least moving forward, you can work with wholesalers. Don't be freaked out. So
okay. Yeah, I've been, like I said, I've been in overdrive trying to find deals. So
yep.
you probably see me.
We all are. Dude, it's slim pickings right now.
Add me to your buyers list, and I'll kind of
I
figure it
will.
out.
It's slim pickings at the moment, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So, but one thing that I want to say is, the good thing is that first off, now we're connected. Okay.
Yeah.
So no matter what, if you ever have any questions about anything or any deals, just run it by me. It's free of charge. I'll tell you that.
I appreciate it. And I mean, that's another big thing too, right? Networking. So that's one thing that I was never really good at. I think I'm an introvert at heart. Don't really like going out socializing too much, but I realized like it's power in that. So I went to, I was living in LA for a while, went to a real estate networking event, met a guy that's actually from Detroit, Eric Friday, who happens to be part of the Monopoly Brothers. Years later, ended up doing a mentorship program with them and learning a lot. It's a 4-week program, learned about, wholesaling, walking a property, how to kind of estimate rehab costs. Yeah. Kind of gave me that confidence and that, that extra motivation to, hey, like, let's kind of do real estate as a full-time thing. Yeah. Like, you can make money doing it. But it was definitely networking. They were able to, they have a yellow pages of all the different contractors and handymen they've worked with in the past. So you can kind of get that for free. You can pay what you want for that. You can get it for free. Yeah. A couple of dollars for it. And like you said, people like you or Jay, you can just call people up and just, if you have any questions, just, ask and get the answer for it.
So one thing that, since you're out in California, one thing that you have an advantage to is people out in California usually have money. Okay. Yeah. So if you're going to these real estate meetups over there, talk to anybody out there who's interested in maybe doing private money lending. Yeah. Things like that. So that's it. So
I will say I joined some of like the California investor groups out here. They're not as busy and active as the one in Detroit, man. The one in Detroit is really good. The ones out here, they're not.
Do you know why? Because the cost entry points are way too high.
It's way too high. Yeah, I agree.
But you take a California investor and be like, I got a house for 30 grand. We'll put 20 grand into it. We'll make 50. And they're like, what? What? Yeah. So, and we do that multiple times, so now obviously you gotta, clean it up. You gotta smooth. It's just networking, but so tell me, how is it living in California and then doing your investments here in Detroit? So how does that work out? What's your daily schedule? Because you still work your 9 to 5, right?
So as of January, I actually, went through a wave of layoffs. So I'm a real estate investor full time now. But still, like as a, my own managing my own properties, you're on call 24/7. So my day starts when my phone goes off. So I learned like the do not disturb feature on my iPhone. So I kind of set that to give myself a little bit more peace of mind. Yep. But my day can start. I mean, I'll give you an example. This past Thanksgiving, I was with my family, and it's 7 o'clock in the morning, and I get a call from my grandmother saying, "Hey, you need to call Officer so and so. Something's going on one of your properties." It's 7 o'clock in the morning, so my brain is still like waking up. Like, why is my grandmother calling me from Michigan? Who's Officer so and so? Is the house burning down? Did somebody die? What happened? So it's every day is different. And then and then also with the same this building is a doozy.
So what was your day job prior, and what was so tell me your schedule prior to you quitting.
Yeah, so I've been in sales since I graduated from college. My last job was working for a tech company out here in San Francisco. I've been blessed enough that all of my jobs, for the most part, have been remote, so I get to work from home. So my day starts, usually California time, probably around like 8 o'clock, like, hopping on the calls, making phone calls. But I could wake up at 6:30 and I already have 3 or 4 missed calls from a tenant, missed calls from, the neighbors saying that your tenants are fighting. So I've heard it all. I've had, neighbor call me and say, you have raccoons on your roof. The building the triplex that we had, we started off with one of the units we had as Airbnb. That was a lot. We're trying to manage an Airbnb remotely is a lot, especially when you never had experience. So, we have to come back, source all the furniture. And then we had a tenant in one building. They locked out, the person in the front door, trying to come stay for the first night. And then, when issues arise, you have to have somebody that's on call in Michigan to go unlock the door, go supply with, the TP, go turn the heater on, whatever the case may be. You have to have somebody reliable that's, on call that you can rely on.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you're in California. The best thing you do is say, "Hey, I can, get you a hotel room, and sorry for the
inconvenience."
Exactly.
Got it. So, Lily, she said, I worked for Eric Friday when he was a newbie, and he was killing it. Would highly recommend.
Definitely, man. He's a good guy, really good guy. Actually, that's awesome. So the good thing about the mentorship program that I was in, it's not like, oh, you're done with the mentorship program, good luck. It was, hey, like, we need you to succeed. We need some students to actually succeed in this. So now that I'm doing, trying to do some fixer-uppers, I need someone to go walk the property, confirm that my rehab cost is what it is. And also if you can comment for me, great. So he's been able to go walk the properties for me and say, hey, this is a good deal. Hey, this is a bad deal. I really appreciate him for that. So again, it's all about networking and just kind of building that team.
Now, have you thought about doing any properties in California?
No. I feel like California, it's like the appreciation game, definitely not for cash flow. I dabbled in wholesale a little bit.
I'm talking about flipping. I'm just talking specifically just flipping because there's no cash flow there. So
not really, man. I think maybe once I get to my goal of hitting 20 doors first, maybe I'll consider it. But
what's your average cash flow on in each door?
About $400 each door. We have some that are higher, but the average pans out to about $400.
That is not a bad deal right there. And I'm going to tell you a reason. That is the reason why most people do actually do rentals in Detroit versus outside of Detroit. Because sometimes outside of Detroit, you're only getting $100 to $200 a door. So now, are most of your properties duplexes, triplexes, things like that, or do you have any single family?
So we have 3 single families and 2 multifamilies. So a triplex, a duplex, and then 3 single families. Moving forward, I'll probably only focus on single families. Just a little easier to rent out to Section 8 units. Just, they have, 3+ bedroom voucher. They don't want to have someone upstairs or downstairs. They want their own, backyard. Kids can go outside, etc. So we have much easier, renting out the property when it's single family. It just sounds good when you you have one building, you have one roof. If something goes wrong, it's, under that one roof, you have 2 or 3 income coming in. But I would say another thing I learned is if you are doing multifamilies, make sure that the meters are separated. The triplex that we have, the gas isn't separated. The electrical is somewhat separated. Water isn't separated. So, we're also.
And it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
it is.
We're thinking about converting it to, make everybody have their own meter, but that, that's a lot of money up front. So with our Section 8 that's moving in, we're like, hey, we'll just cover the cost of all utilities and hopefully get more rent for it.
Yeah, the only downfall is with Section 8, you might be able to allow that, but it's just hard. So Junior Sanchez from the Facebook group says, how long until you can pull equity out on a duplex? So I believe he's probably referring to like the Burr method. So
So I know with my lender, their the seasoning period was 6 months. So luckily we've had a property for over a year. So it's 6 months. Another rookie mistake is we kind of bought the property for more than it was worth at the time. So we don't really have too much equity in that. So we wouldn't take money out of that. But we got lucky enough with our last 2 properties that we have a decent amount of equity in it. So if we want to pull out like a HELOC or do a cash out refund, we can do that and use that towards our scaling.
And that's the thing. Like even if you leave some money in the deal, you're still getting money back. You're still getting most of it back anyways.
Exactly.
So Colleen asks, what's the average rent you're getting in Detroit on a single family, say 3-1, but you said most of them are duplex. So
we do have a 3-bed on the west side. We're getting $1,450 a month for that, which is great. We bought it. This was a tired landlord. He had, I think, like 15 properties he was selling at the time. And we were going to grab 3 of them, but my wife was kind of like, slow your roll. I was like, well, we got to at least grab 2 of them. And we kind of talked them down on price.
Was it on market?
It was on market, and they were sitting there for a while. And then the realtor that we went with, she was like, hey, they're motivated. I think we can get it at this price. So like, let's see if we can. So they were like, accepted. We did the inspection. There were still some issues with it. They were like, hey, we actually need to go down lower on the price. So we got a house, and then we ended up getting it for like $50,000. Section 8 tenant. It was only paying $850 a month at the time, but we knew that with the fair market rent, we can get around $1,450 a month. So as soon as we took it over, we immediately asked for an increase in rent, got it approved. So I mean, that property, I think we're like profiting like $700-800 a month off of that property.
And you didn't have to do anything to it. Just ask Section 8 to improve it. You know, all right.
No, we didn't know rehab on that property.
That's awesome.
We just lucked up. It was just, good time. And again, networking and just being consistent with, putting out offers and looking for deals.
So listen, next time you come across that situation and you don't want to take the other 2 properties, give your man a call right here.
I got you.
I can get them sold right now.
I got you.
So, all right. So from here, we actually just got another question here from Fugi TV. But who is your realtor that you use?
Man, y'all went all this. Man, it took me years of trial and error, spending all my money. I'm giving up all the songs.
Why do you think they're here, man?
No, but again, I'll put it in the Facebook group. But her name is Danielle. I can't pronounce her last name. Strowski. She's great. So I would say also, if you're looking to get into real estate and haven't, you want to look for an investor-friendly realtor, not just a realtor that may just be for a good first-time home buyer. That there's definitely a difference between the two. I'll say that. And
how did you know the difference between a investor-friendly realtor and a regular realtor?
Trial and error again, man. So with the first 2 properties I bought, we were working with a realtor that was a family friend. I think she knew everything, like textbook, like the process and the flow of how to go from beginning to close. But it's like the savviness of for the investor of being able to haggle on the deal or include things, ask for things off. And then also, mentioning that once you buy a property, the property taxes are uncapped. I didn't know that at the time. So I'm dealing with that now, 2 years later after buying the property. But it was just certain questions that we had and the answers we were getting were like, I don't know if this is going to work as we try to scale to 20. So again, reach out to my man, Jay, let him know hey, this is what we're dealing with. We're looking for someone that might, be able to help us scale and have some deals. They're working with other investors, etc. Insert Danielle. So I reached out to Danielle saying, hey, we're looking to buy up to 5 properties ASAP. What do you have? And she was like, hey, I have this tired landlord. He has 15 properties. Here they go. And that's how we got those last 2.
Wow, that's awesome. So
and she was just good at being able to, let us know what we should offer it on. Like if they came back and countered, what to say back, how to add, contingencies in there to make sure that we got our EMD back if things didn't pan out. She made us feel comfortable, and we felt that everything that went out was in the benefit of us at the end of the day.
And that's what a true realtor should be doing.
Definitely.
Okay. So Junior Sanchez from Facebook group, thank you for joining, by the way. How much can I get Section 8 for a 2-bedroom unit?
So for our 2 units, we're getting $1,212 per month. Tenant pays everything except water. And we have two 2-bedrooms, and they're both at $1,212 a month.
Got it. All right. Honestly, I think that's on the higher end side too. So I was thinking only about 1,100, honestly. Yeah. So
our tenant placement person is really good. That one I'm keeping that card to my chest. That took me a couple little while. Yeah,
that's
so
okay.
So that took me a while to find him. We get 1.5 security deposit. I will tell you this, like with some, if you're looking for veterans, they have an incentive program right now where they'll give you 2 times the rental amount as incentive for taking in a veteran. So one of our doors, we have a veteran in there. So we got 1.5 times security deposit, $12 a month, plus an extra $2,400 just for taking them. Another incentive program. I'm not sure if every agency does it, but if you take on a tenant that has like some mental issues, they'll give you an incentive for that as well. Nice.
Okay. So maybe we'll talk offline about who that tenant placement is, you know. But that Fugi TV, I don't know your real name, but he said I'm out of state too. So thank you for sharing. So that's the whole reason why we do this, so we can all share and be prosperous. So now with what you're doing now, you're at, you said 8 doors?
Correct.
Okay. So you're looking to get to 20. Okay. So all the deals send your way, you know, I'll try to find as many as we can, because now you're full time. You left your 9 to 5. All right. And how hard was it getting those 8 with and doing your work, with your 9 to 5?
It actually wasn't hard at all, man. So like I would just carve out a couple hours of my day, putting on my calendar for during my lunch hours or like after work. So that the 3-hour time difference definitely helped. So waking up earlier, staying up late allowed me to just look into deals, and a lot of it's just what technology is, a text message or an email, and just following up. So I didn't have to be on the phone too much, and me just being in sales, I'm on the phone all day anyway. So just reaching out to realtors, agents, etc., just to find deals. So it wasn't that hard at all.
So listen, all you lazy people out there who's procrastinating, say, I don't got time. You got an hour a day. You got something. All right. Put it to work.
Definitely.
Put it on do not disturb and do whatever you need to do. All right. But you need to have good goals and go towards them. You need to take one step at a time, because it may, it may take you longer than if you did it full time, but at least you're going forward. As long as you're going forward, right?
Exactly. I was talking to my brother the other day. He was, rubbing shoulders with this billionaire guy out in Belize. He owns like 10,000 doors. And he was like, dude, how did you do it? He said, 1 door at a time. You start with 1 door and just keep moving. Like you said, start with 1 and just keep knocking them down. But definitely,
that's true good advice.
It starts with the mentality. If this is something that you actually want to do, if you want to, get out of your 9 to 5, or just have some comfort in, taking over and having control of your life, I would say it starts with just the mentality, and then from there, like you said, just not being lazy. If you do have to drive to work, if you're sitting in traffic, listen to a podcast. Listen to an audio book about real estate. Call some realtors, and join different groups. That's all I've been doing.
Join our Facebook group, Metro Detroit Off Market Real Estate Group. We got over 6,700 people in there. Okay. It's not all about me. I'm telling you that. Like, I love this podcast. Don't get me wrong. I get to meet people like Dean over here, but you ask your question in there, somebody's going to answer it. You're looking for a deal. Somebody's going to be posting a deal in there, but it's also not only my group, but it's also going to be other groups too. Exactly. So, just keep moving and keep moving forward. So, Robin Barnes from Facebook says facts. And then Junior says he's 28 years old. He has 4 doors at the moment.
That's what's up, man. Congrats on that. Keep going.
Dude, keep going. Congrats. So now what we're going to do now is tell me what you're he said he's also a roofing contractor.
Okay.
Hell yeah. So now what are you planning on? You're trying to get to 20 doors.
Yep.
Do you have a set goal towards that? Like, how are you going to get to that? And now that you said since January you went full time, right?
Yeah, full time, and it's just every day. So every week I want to be under contract for like 4 to 5 homes. That's
Okay.
Well, at least I'll say this. I want to put an offer in on 4 to 5 homes every week. I want to get that up to probably like 10 to 20 because the last 2 weeks I probably put in offers for like 15 or 20. Only 2, came back with any interest. There are definitely some low ball offers, but like again, like it's definitely a little fear in that because I want to make sure I have enough cushion to make some mistakes while I'm going into this.
Yeah.
But that's the goal. So every day I probably spend about 3 to 4 hours just going on the MLS, looking at the wholesalers list and just seeing what's out there.
Yeah.
And if this is an opportunity. And at first I was kind of like getting a little, analysis paralysis, but now I'm like, let me put in an offer. If it gets accepted, I'll give myself a 7 or 10 day due diligence and I'll send my team out to go analyze it. If it's a deal, we'll go forward. If not, we'll just back out of it. But at least I have it under contract, or at least I'm making some progress on it. Is that the best move? I'm not sure, but it's, we'll see.
So one thing that I learned is this: if you want to start off with, all right, my goal is I need to make, say I need to make five offers in a week.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you split that up. Okay. I want to be able to make 1 offer a day.
Yeah.
1 offer a day. Then once you get comfortable doing that 1 offer a day, make it 2 offers a day, then 3. And then you'll slowly, soon enough, you're going to be making 5 to 10 offers a day. Not everyone's going to be accepted, but you're going to be making offers that favor what, for you to make money. And it's just a numbers game at that point.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
So, and essentially that's what we do as wholesalers too. Like when I cold call, like I just got to call enough people. I'll get a deal somehow, some way. I just got to call enough people, Now how much is that enough? I don't know.
Yeah.
Law of averages, right?
You gotta have thick skin for that too.
Exactly.
For wholesale. So you're gonna get cussed out a couple of times.
I've been cussed out. I've been called a racist. I'm just over the phone. They don't even know who I am. And they're calling me a racist. Like they're calling me thieves. They're calling me this, that. I'm like, well, thank you. Have a great day. Click. All right. Put back on the list to call.
I've been thinking about getting into, wholesaling and cold calling, but like I'm burnt out from cold calling, man. I've been 10 years in sales of different companies and cold calling and just hearing no over and over again. Like that's a numbers game. I'd rather pay the wholesale that extra $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 profit you guys are getting and just kind of take it from there.
So I'm going to tell you this, and if you want to learn more about it, that's great. But I would develop systems like you are for your properties. Mm-hmm. Develop systems where you can hire somebody to do it. Now all you're doing is the follow-ups, not necessarily the actual cold calling.
Yeah.
So things like that. But if you want to learn more, by all means, let me know. We'll talk more. Okay. So, all right. But that's what I do. It's
you have VAs? Do you use any virtual assistants?
I have used VAs. Yeah. Okay. I don't at the moment, but I have used them.
Okay.
And I love them to death. So like a VA I'm going to be honest, like a VA is awesome.
Okay.
And you train that VA. As long as you train that VA on how to do it, they're going to do as well as you train them.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So D'Angelo said hiring for those positions as well and just manage the team and systems. He said it's a job, most definitely.
Yep.
So so how you're going to try to put in as many offers as you can to try to get to those 20 doors by still making money, by still doing anything you can. Here comes the other question is how can our group, our people that are watching right now help you get to that point?
Send me deals. Send me what you have.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, whatever. If you're looking to sell, send me what you got. I'm looking at it. I know my buying criteria is brick, 3+ bedrooms. I'll look at 2+ bedrooms. West side only. I'm from the west side. I don't deal with the east side too much. Anything you have on the west side, I'm interested in looking at that.
So you don't like frame houses, do you?
No, at least not. I mean, I have one. Also have tried selling it a few times, and no bites. I even gone down the price. But I mean, just like the aesthetic of the brick and just how long they last, and it's just more valuable. And I'd rather have that, because at the end of the day, when I get 40, 50, I don't look into my portfolio and have a really impressive portfolio that looks nice. They're in good neighborhoods, etc. So yeah, I'm right now just sticking with brick only.
Okay. Because the one thing about frame houses in Detroit, you can get them at a lot lower price and they cash flow like crazy.
Yeah.
So they can. Because even with Section 8 tenants, you can still get a really decent amount of rent in a frame house.
Yeah,
so,
I agree. I think I'll look at, like, again, I'm like really tunnel vision on 20 doors. This is my buying criteria. I think once I get there, I'll start dabbling in other things. But
yeah, they're just not good for resale. So you won't want to do it on a flip or anything like that. That's the only issue.
Yeah.
So they have to be cheaper. And any wholesalers watching right now, there is a difference in Detroit between brick and frame.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you don't know what I'm talking about, hit me up. My number's right here. All right. I'll explain it to you, or go look at my past podcast. It's probably explained to you before. So now, have you been to any meetups over here in the Metro Detroit area?
No, I actually,
when you come in town?
I know in the Detroit, I just missed the one. I think it's like every third Thursday. I had just missed that one. I was coming in or coming out of town, but I have not. No, it's definitely on my list to do for sure.
Awesome. So if you do come in town, let me know. I'll let you know about any meetups that are happening in the area.
Okay.
And we can kind of go from there. So, but would love to, see what we can do about, I want to get you that 20 doors as much as possible. You know,
I appreciate it. Whoever you have that you think, send them my way, please.
So
I'm on mine 24/7.
Most definitely. So we got a little bit of time left. What trials and tribulations did you face while you're working your job and doing this investing? So we started off in the beginning. We got, what you did in the beginning. Any other horror stories or things like that you can? I know we can go on forever, but this is the end of the episode. What do you want to leave it on?
I would say for me, again, I think at the beginning of this, I mentioned I've always wanted to own my own company. I didn't want to go work for someone. And then, bills are real. So I would say, like, every job that I have, even if I was making decent money, I was comfortable. I knew that I was selling myself short. I knew that's not what I wanted to do ultimately. I had this idea of who I should be at, this age, at age 40, at age 50, and me working for this company was not it. It definitely helped me, and I'm appreciative for it. It allowed me to, invest and get to where I am now. But every day I would wake up and I just kind of feel like I was letting myself down, letting my family down, because this isn't what I ultimately want to do. And, my time is dependent on, the owner of the company. If I had to fly out of town for a sales conference, if I have to hop onto a impromptu meeting, I didn't have control over any of that. And then, once COVID happened up till now, all these layoffs, you can go get a job tomorrow. I had a friend that got laid off. A month later, got a job. 2 weeks after that, got laid off again. So it's like, taking control of your destiny. If, sitting down and being real with yourself and what you really want to do, you have to go for it. Worst case, you could always go find another job. Even if it's not the job you want, you can go find a job somewhere. If you had to go work at Chipotle, McDonald's to, support your family. So for me, it was more of the mental piece, the frustration of, all right, at what point is Dean gonna hop off the fence, put his big boy pants on, and do this 100%? And I think, luckily, I think it's a blessing that in January, my company was like, hey, laid off. it's like, all right, now this is a sign. This is the time for me to do this. I'm lucky enough that my rental income supports, all of our expenses or the majority of them. So I'm not stressing to have to go find another job right now. And let me put 100% of my efforts in on this, and I can't lose. I think when people have, see on Instagram, like, don't have a plan B. If you don't have a plan B, like you have to put everything into this one basket, and hopefully you don't fail. So that's kind of where my mentality is now. Like, don't have a plan B. Focus on this 100% and see where it goes. And I think I've gone through enough trials and tribulations and have learned enough, have built my network, and have a team that I can get to where I want to go. So that's kind of where I am now.
So did you have any metrics that you wanted before you went to full time? Did you have any metrics of, hey, I need to be at X number of dollars coming in of cash flow to make sure before I go full time? Obviously, you were forced into it a little bit, but did you have any of those metrics thinking about that forward?
Yeah. So what I do every month is I sit down and look at like what are my just living expenses between utilities, car note, etc. And that was my number. So that then also having to call and figure out how much is insurance to cover myself and my family, and that was my number. So I was like, all right, that's why we kind of reached out to Danielle. I was like, hey, we need 3 to 5 houses as soon as possible, because this was last year. And I thought that I was getting laid off. Luckily, I had a little bit longer before that happened, and I was able to add those 2 properties, which paid for our health insurance, which paid for some of our utilities. So that was my number. So I'm lucky enough to be able to have gotten to that. So now I can focus on this plan A 100% versus having to think about this plan B and going to get another job that I'm not going to be happy at, knowing that I want to go do this other thing full time.
So you had, did you meet that by the time you got laid off? Did you meet that metric that you planned? Yeah,
we made it last June. We were able to meet that goal thanks to those last 2 properties that we picked up.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a blessing. So my wife's biggest thing, I'm blessed that she trusts and believes in me. She's like, as long as we have health insurance, go for it. So that was the first thing I did, was make sure that our health insurance was covered. And we're also very frugal. So our family calls us the penny pinching Parkers. So, we have 1 car, we eat at home. We don't, buy into luxury.
That is not a bad thing. I'm telling you.
So
it is not. People want you. Listen, I'm going to tell you, people on the outside, they're going to give you crap about it and say, I tell people this, unless you're going to be coming to pay my bills, don't say shit.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So I tell people, like, when they're like, well, why don't you have any kids? Why don't you have any kids yet? Why don't you have any kids? I said, because I want to be stable in my household.
Yeah.
My income needs to be stable. Oh, it doesn't cost that much. I go, are you going to pay my bills? Are you going to pay all of that? No. So shut your mouth.
Yep.
And sorry to me to be rude about that, but it's just straight. You got to be straight with people.
Yeah. 100%.
And they either respect it or they don't. And if they don't respect it, they don't need to be a part of your life, even if they're family.
Exactly. Yep. And I mean, we from the beginning. So, living in California, cost of living is expensive. So my wife bought a studio out there, 460 square feet. We both live in there. So that definitely, living there for years with her, we knew, all right, we can marry each other because we can survive living in this small space. But I mean, we were living there, we're paying each $600 a month towards the mortgage. I was working remote, so I sold my car, so we were saving money, and all the extra money that we did have put into a separate account, and didn't even think about it. Saved up some money, bought a house in LA, stayed there during COVID. Property values went up during COVID. People were just buying because the rates were low. Sold that, and then moved up north to San Francisco. And same thing, we're saving money here, and just investing all of our income or money that we do have towards
awesome.
Our real estate portfolio.
So you're in San Francisco area, in the Bay Area right now?
Yep.
All right, I need to come visit you now.
Don't come right now, man. The weather is, I don't know if I can curse, but it's shitty up here. It's been rainy for
It'll be a while. I come during summertime.
Yeah, come in the summertime, man. Yeah, definitely come out here. I'll take you out, go eat. I don't know if you drink or not. We'll go out.
Oh, most definitely. I'll have a drink or two. You know,
Okay.
I don't get smashed or anything, but I'll have a drink or two.
I'm not gonna do you like that now.
Yeah. Last time I've been in, I don't want to keep you on here too long, but last time I was in San Francisco, it was 10 years ago. I was working on a cruise ship, and we are coming back from. I spent a whole summer in Alaska. So basically, I was working on the cruise ship, and so we did a whole tour in Alaska.
Okay.
I was a photographer actually on the cruise ship. That was my job.
Damn, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So, cool. And one of the stops coming back was in San Francisco, and so it was a repositioning cruise coming from Alaska, going through the Panama Canal back to Miami. So,
out there for a minute.
Yeah. So it was. I mean, I did it for around a little bit over a year. So
okay.
Nice. And basically, we spent about 6 months on, a month off, and then so on and so forth. So
okay.
But that was the only time I've been to LA or been to San Francisco.
Okay.
And I was walking distance and things like that. So
okay.
It was fun though. It was fun.
Yeah. Next time you come out here, man, definitely hit me up. Let me know.
All right. So what we're going to do, we run out of time here. I want to be respectful of your time here as well. If anybody needs to get a hold of you or wants to send you deals, how can they get a hold of you?
Please send me an email. Email address is 460flips@gmail.com. The number 460 spelled out, flips with an S.
Okay.
gmail.com.
Awesome. Sweet. And then if you can't get a hold of him, send me the deal and I'll wholesale it to him. So,
see, that's why I'm scared of you wholesalers, man.
No, I wouldn't do you like that. So, but I would wholesale you a deal. So
I'm waiting.
But it's gotta be work. It's got to work on both sides. So
I got you.
But all right. So I'm gonna bring you down real quick. Stay back after. We'll talk in a minute. All right.
Sounds good. Thanks, Randy.
I appreciate you coming on.
One thing that I've always wanted to do. I want to say, if you guys like this channel, click right here and subscribe.
Heck yeah. Please. I always forget to say that.
I always wanted to do that, man.
Yeah, click down there and hit subscribe.
There you go.
Hit subscribe button, comment down below for what you need. If you're watching the replay stays on. If you are somebody who's watching right now, send this video to somebody you think that would enjoy it or they can gain some value out of it. Please like, share, subscribe, all of that. So I always forget to say that at the end of the
Gotcha, video. Man. I won't even charge you for that. That was on the house.
All right. I appreciate that. All right. It was awesome. Honestly, everyone, thank you for joining me. It was really awesome having Dean on here. And I know that you guys got a ton of value out of this. If you like this video, please do hit comment. It shares with the algorithm, things like that. And we'll go from there. Now, if you want to get a hold of me, if you want to do any JV deals, my number's right here at the bottom, right there. Yeah, right there. And we can work together, things like that. And I'm happy to work with anybody or at least give any type of advice or anything like that. So with all that being said, let's all do deals together. Have a good night.
Once a day that I would pray for you. I'd go and misbehave just so you'd notice too. Sneaking looks up